49ers have recently encountered a wave of encouraging news, and depending on how one interprets the circumstances, it might even seem more promising. This discussion aims to delve into those updates, including an unexpectedly positive report concerning Brandon Aiyuk, a fresh and intriguing draft scenario developing for the 49ers, as well as an exciting announcement about next season's schedule that has sparked considerable interest. For fans seeking daily insights about the 49ers, there's an opportunity for deeper engagement, and your support truly means a lot. Now, let's explore this fascinating subject. Can we infer anything from a video of Aiyuk dancing alone at his wedding? Don't go just yet. There's more to uncover. When reflecting on that clip of him looking fantastic at his wedding, as one would expect, and comparing it with the timeline of Stefon Diggs' recovery journey, it certainly brings a bit more optimism, doesn't it? I think it does. Let's take a closer look. Recently, Brandon Aiyuk got married, and a number of photos and videos from the event have surfaced. Seeing him dance and enjoy the moment makes one think, maybe there's a silver lining. Physically, he looks to be in great shape. It's known that he was doing jump shots in the locker room before the season ended, signaling legitimate progress in his recovery. Here are a few insights from a specialist in physical therapy. The average recovery period for ACL, anterior cruciate ligament, and MCL, medial collateral ligament, injuries is around 9 to 10 months. It's been mentioned that the recovery process for ACL injuries is very similar to that of MCL injuries. Including MCL issues in surgical procedures doesn't necessarily complicate recovery. These two injuries often heal in tandem. Though the surgery might sound complicated, during recovery, these injuries typically heal together. A medical professional has highlighted that the athlete is developing as expected. These injuries often occur simultaneously during surgery, and the complexity comes from how one relates to the other. In reality, both aspects of the injury are interconnected during the recovery process. The specialist indicated that the athlete is progressing well, and team coaches have also confirmed that he's on schedule. They've said he's expected to return by week 1, which amounts to 9 months and 24 days, and judging by his workout videos, he seems to be moving very well. Given all that, week 1 appears to be a realistic and positive target for his return. Moreover, there are some clips of him dancing with teammates, which adds another layer of optimism. Another player recently caught attention after signing a new contract. His situation is unfolding favorably, even though he's dealing with a less complicated injury. That said, this player is also further along in his career. For those who haven't seen the video, it's worth checking out. I won't play the full clip due to copyright, but it's impressive to watch this athlete execute a route efficiently. He even mentioned to a teammate that he wasn't giving full effort, and you can immediately sense the teammate's reaction, as if questioning why that was the case. The video shows him running a route with real sharpness. When we piece all this together, the outlook for him being ready by week 1 looks quite good. Of course, we can't say for sure, but I value the progress we've seen. It reminds me of another case from last year, when we tried to gather as much information as possible about an athlete's training to assess his condition. I feel optimistic about this player's prospects for the upcoming season for many of the reasons already mentioned, so I won't go into more detail. That said, I also feel good about another player's progress. Watching these developments gives me hope that he'll be ready, perhaps not for week 1, but shortly after. He'll need some time, but having him available during practice would be a huge win for the team. Last season, not having him active in training was a real setback. He was present, but not practicing. If he can at least be on the sidelines during practices, working with the health staff, that would be fantastic news. Switching gears for a moment, there's serious concerns surrounding a quarterback in New Orleans. To be honest, it's a tricky situation. A significant injury to that team could greatly impact the 2025 NFL Draft and influence the strategies of other teams in the first round. Reports recently emerged indicating that the New Orleans quarterback is dealing with a shoulder injury, and there's uncertainty about his availability for the upcoming season. If surgery is required, it could ruin his year. Let's be real. Another player on the roster, who previously starred in a TV series as a quarterback, is not yet ready to fill that role in the NFL. He still needs considerable development and didn't show the necessary skills last season. We'll have to wait and see how the team addresses this challenge. The reality is the team faces serious financial challenges because of this quarterback, which makes things even more complicated. Given their financial history, they can't just sign a veteran quarterback without careful planning. If they want to replace this QB or find a temporary solution, they'll need to engage in serious negotiations. If they aim to make a meaningful move, they'll need to pursue a strategic trade to land a veteran quarterback. However, I get the feeling they might not go down that route. If they opt for a temporary or permanent replacement, the draft seems like the most cost-effective option. With a top 10 pick, they could potentially select a new talent. If they secure a quarterback, it could benefit another team, allowing them to focus on drafting the best non-quarterback players available. This opens up a variety of exciting possibilities, especially with how attractive some of the picks are in this draft. There's a growing sense of similarity to last year's draft, the excitement, the unpredictability. The key difference, however, is the lack of standout quarterbacks in this class, which shifts the dynamics. Last year was marked by an unusually high number of quarterbacks taken early. Unfortunately, if the hope was to execute a trade this year, the conditions aren't quite as favorable. For those hoping the team would make a move to trade, I have to share my view on one particular player who's gotten a lot of attention. Living in a certain state, I've followed a local team closely for years, and while I think this player is a solid quarterback, I don't see him as elite. I'm not completely writing him off, but I'm skeptical he'll reach that upper tier. It may seem premature to judge a player before he's even entered the league, but that's just how I see it. If for some reason he's still available around pick 11, the idea of trading down becomes a lot more appealing, since other teams would likely be eager to draft a quarterback. That could bring several advantages for the 49ers. That said, I'd personally like to see the 49ers make their pick at number 11. Maybe you feel differently, and that's completely fair. I'm not against trading down. I wouldn't be upset if they chose that path. But I genuinely like the idea of selecting someone at 11 because there's still going to be a lot of talent on the board. I want the 49ers to secure the player they truly want. If the team believes they can still get their guy later and opts to trade down, the presence of someone like Shedeur Sanders could complicate their decision-making. There are other intriguing factors in play, but I won't go too deep into that. Feel free to pause the screen if you'd like to read more. No doubt, it's a compelling topic, but we're already 8 minutes in, so let's keep it moving. I think the core message is clear. Before we move on, I want to touch on another topic, the schedule release. This was revealed yesterday when an executive mentioned on a podcast that the league plans to unveil the full schedule between May 13th and 15th. There's usually no exact date, it just happens. But there's always a sense of anticipation among fans, and that buzz never fades. This year is especially important for the 49ers because they need to deal with some lingering trends, particularly around the rest differential. On paper, the 49ers should have a better rest differential, but they don't. They've had one of the worst rest differentials over the last few seasons. It's concerning to think the 49ers might be facing the same struggle again. Their poor differential stems from multiple primetime games and several Thursday matchups. When they get extra Thursday games, paired with the structure of their weekly schedule and the teams they're playing, it all takes a toll. Last season, the 49ers dealt with one of the toughest rest differentials ever recorded. On top of that, by strength of schedule, they had the hardest calendar in the entire league. The silver lining here is that, statistically, the 49ers are due for a serious improvement in their rest differential. They're also expected to have a more favorable primetime and Thursday night setup this season. Ideally, the 49ers won't have 6 primetime games again. While players enjoy the energy of those spotlight games, and there's nothing wrong with that, the key issue beyond rest and scheduling is that the 49ers need to go out and earn their place. I want to see this team grind. I want them to adopt a mindset that says, we haven't earned it yet, because, frankly, they haven't. They need to move away from an entitlement mentality and return to a mindset of hunger and determination. You know what I mean? Last year, even with a star-studded roster, it felt like something was missing. Winning streaks can boost confidence, but frequent close losses can shift the narrative quickly. When you're losing games you should be winning, it becomes clear a change in mindset is needed. The team needs to go out and chase those wins. There's a lot to reflect on here. And if the team ends up with multiple short weeks again, things could get even messier. For instance, after their last Thursday night game, they'll have a long week, but the next opponent comes off a bye. That just seems unfair. These situations are part of the game, but you still hope there's some room for greater fairness in the scheduling, especially given what we've seen in recent seasons. As we look ahead to the 2025 NFL Draft, anticipation is building. There's serious interest in how the picks will play out. The possibility of taking an offensive lineman in the first round remains a hot topic. While that's not a definitive prediction, the frequency of talk about drafting tackles is telling, especially considering the hit-or-miss nature of recent picks. The ongoing debate between focusing on edge rushers or tackles continues, as does the question of whether teams will go after the best available player or get drawn in by high-upside prospects at other positions. If a player with significant promise is available, the decision becomes critical. Historically, teams often reach for players ahead of projections. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But finding the right fit is always key. The upcoming draft promises to be fascinating. Hopefully, we'll dive deeper into that topic soon. For now, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I look forward to catching up again in the next conversation. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors have been circulating across the NFL world, and they're hard to ignore. Could Derrick Henry, the king of rushing, be suiting up for the San Francisco 49ers next season? As one of the league's most dominant and explosive players, Henry's potential move to the 49ers would send shockwaves through the football community. Imagine a backfield combination of the 49ers' dynamic offense paired with the brute force of Henry. What could this mean for the team's chances of securing another Super Bowl title? The buzz around this possible trade is undeniable, and for good reason. For nearly a decade, Derrick Henry has carved a legacy that's impossible to overlook. From his record-breaking days at Alabama to dominating the NFL with the Tennessee Titans, Henry has consistently been one of the league's top performers. His massive frame, speed, and unparalleled strength have made him a nightmare for defenses. A two-time NFL rushing champion, he led the league in rushing yards and touchdowns in 2019 and 2020, even surpassing 2,000 rushing yards in one unforgettable season. But after 8 years with the Titans, his recent move to the Baltimore Ravens raised eyebrows. Yet the whispers about a possible trade to San Francisco haven't stopped. In 2024, Henry's powerhouse performances for the Ravens further cemented his legacy. With explosive games like his 199-yard, one-touchdown showing against the Buffalo Bills, Henry proved that he's still one of the most feared running backs in the game. His ability to take over games, whether through power or speed, makes him a unique weapon in any offense. As the 49ers continue to build a Super Bowl contender, adding a player of Henry's caliber could elevate their already high-octane offense to terrifying new heights. The 49ers, known for their physical brand of football and ground-and-pound style, could be the perfect fit for Henry. With a capable offensive line and dynamic playmakers like Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, the addition of the NFL's top running back would make the 49ers' rushing attack nearly unstoppable. Henry's ability to churn out yards and take pressure off the quarterback would create new opportunities for offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan's creative schemes. Additionally, with a reliable and talented defense, the 49ers could look to Henry to play a major role in securing victories through ball control and clock management. As the rumors surrounding Derrick Henry's potential move to San Francisco continue to intensify, fans and analysts alike are eagerly awaiting confirmation. Could the 49ers soon have one of the most physically dominant players in the league? Or will another team swoop in to claim the reigning king of the NFL? One thing is certain. Wherever Henry lands, his impact will be felt. The question now is, will that be in the Bay Area? Stay tuned, because this is one trade rumor that's sure to dominate the headlines. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.